For those of you who do not know me, my name is Felina Harris, and I'm the Business Relationship Manager for the North Carolina Department of Information Technology. We are here today with Matt Clark and Travis Penny and Seamus Greeley. Am I saying that name right?
It's Seamus.
And they're going to talk about Web Application Firewall. That's our topic for today. And I hope you all will listen attentively. I mean, just soak it all in. And I'm sure that Mac and his team, they're going to share some good information with us, and we'll provide additional information if you need follow-ups after this particular meeting. I'm going to turn it over to Mac at this time. And thank you all so much for joining us on today.
Thank you so much, Felina. Thank y'all for being here. Really appreciate it. And it's great. Hope to get to know y'all and get to chat with y'all more over the coming weeks. I like this to be kind of an introduction and maybe just the start of the conversation, and we can continue to chat. And if y'all have questions today, you're going to have opportunities to ask those questions, and we'll also be available to you after this conversation if you want to just reach out to myself. I'm Matt Clark. As Felina mentioned, I lead the Web Application Firewall team at DIT. I'm also a web developer. I'm from Greenville, North Carolina. I've been doing web development since my early years, and originally working at a company in Greenville, North Carolina, and now for the state. Been a privilege and enjoyed that, and have the privilege here working with a great team here. Some of y'all may already know Travis and Seamus. Travis and Seamus have been rolling out Web Application Firewall to various local government entities over the last year. It's been we've had a great response. We've really enjoyed protecting folks, and Travis and Seamus are experts in WAF, and they do a great job protecting it. I wanted to tell you a quick story before I throw it over to those two to kind of talk about all the great progress they've been making in protecting some of your colleagues around the state. You know, we've had some entities here in the last couple of years that have come to us for Web Application Firewall in a less pleasant environment than we are right now. They come to us in a time of emergency, frankly, where they have been under attack, and in some cases, their websites, and I'm talking about local government entities like your own, their websites have been attacked and defaced in some recent cases. Their websites have been attacked with request floods to the extent that the site was unavailable entirely to your customers. That's the level of sophistication of attacks that we've been seeing. Botnets of thousands of computers targeting your websites with malicious traffic. We've seen it happen in real cases over the last couple of years. And in those times, we've been called upon, and we've come and we've implemented Web Application Firewall in front of those websites. And that's really what, in essence, Web Application Firewall is. You can think of it as a moat around your castle. If your website is a castle, it's a moat or a wall. It can protect you from traffic that is coming to your websites for ill purposes. And that's what we're trying to stop. And really, to me, and I think to Bernice and the statewide ESRMO team, Web Application Firewall really is a requirement for websites in the modern day with the level of sophistication of attacks that we're seeing. And we've seen several in recent years, as I've said. And what we found is, in those emergency scenarios, implementing WAF was really just an instant solution to their problem. Once we have it up, the threat is mitigated and the site is back. And that's all it really took, was having WAF. But what we're going to talk to you today is sort of the benefits of WAF, how easy it is to implement, and we're going to encourage you to do it now and not wait into that scenario where you become the target, until when you've got the bullseye on you. We've seen the colleagues that have had it, and if it happens and you don't have it, we'll be there that day, and you can call us, and we will be there that day, and we'll do it that day. But we'd rather that day never come, because you're protected already. And that's what we can do, and that's what we're going to talk about how we do that for you today. So Travis and Seamus Travis and Seamus have some slides that they've prepared to kind of make a presentation to you, kind of giving you an overview of how Web Application Firewall gets implemented, how we're able to implement it for you. You have control over it. You get to implement it at your pace, and you can implement rules that you want to implement. We also have kind of a recommended set, and Travis and Seamus will go into all of that now. Travis, do you want to go ahead and start talking to them about what y'all offer and what's possible there?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks, Mac. Appreciate the introduction.
Thank you.
Yeah, as Mac said, my name's Travis Penny. I'm a cloud solutions engineer. I was brought to DIT specifically to run this service, and I've been doing so for, I'd say, a little over 2 years now. I come from, North Carolina as well, born and raised in Chapel Hill, worked at UNC Chapel Hill for several years before coming to DIT, and this is now the main thing that I do. So happy to be here and appreciate the introduction as well. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Sorry, I should have probably thrown this title card up beforehand. Can everyone see my screen share here? Just checking.
It's great.
All right, perfect, perfect. So we're going to talk about Web Application Firewall, and great introduction, Mac. I appreciate you walking through the service and what we're going to go through today. I feel like some of what I'm going to talk about is going to be a little bit, kind of sales pitchy and stuff like that. But in general, we'll guide you through how the process is implemented and what the service really has and the real benefits that are in there. It's not just WAF. From DIT's perspective, we call this a WAF service, but there's numerous benefits within the service too that you can utilize as an agency. So stepping right on in, Matt gave the background, but I'll just, touch on it a little bit. And, in November of 2022, NCDIT acquired Web Application Firewall, CDN, and DDoS protections for state agencies from cyber attacks. Now, this did result, this was kind of from an event that occurred, an incident that happened. And since kickoff, we've, protected over 600 sites and applications that have been onboarded to the platform. Now, that number is not accurate because I know it's a lot higher. I mean, we're adding agencies and, sites weekly. I mean, so it's higher than 600, but it's getting up there. So around 2024, let's just fast forward 2 years. This is during my time. And what you're here for today, we renegotiated to extend and provide coverage for local governments and municipalities, offering all services and features that are provided to state agencies to local governments with no overages or caps. And there's currently no cost to join the service. The service is currently appropriated. So any local government agency, city, town, or municipality, your fire department, anything like that, wherever you come from, it's fine. It's no cost to you. We can provision an account for you, and it includes all of these services that you see listed. So you can get authoritative DNS administration within the Cloudflare dashboard. We found that that's very helpful for a lot of local government agencies because some local governments, they manage their own DNS. They may have a third-party DNS management, but that's a great feature that we've had a lot of great feedback on. The CDN, this is something you probably won't, interact with, so to speak, but that is kind of what, in essence, what Cloudflare is, and it will serve your web content rapidly. So when you onboard a domain or, a site to Cloudflare, it caches versions of your site to serve it a lot faster than you would. So you'll have a little bit of an upkick in speed just from using the service, so to speak. WAF, Web Application Firewall. This is kind of the most important part of this service and what we call it naturally. So Web Application Firewall, and it defends sites against, current and emerging threats. And we'll dive a little bit deeper into each of these services as we move along. An additional feature of the service is Advanced Certificate Manager. So you get a flexible and customizable way to manage certificates at the Cloudflare edge. There's a little bit more to that we'll get into as well. Automated DDoS protection. So Cloudflare's, I think, covering like 20% of the internet. And in general, they just, ensure service availability. Believe it or not, I think last year they broke their own record twice for the largest volumetric DDoS attacks stopped. So it happened once and then they broke it one time, then they broke it again a few months later. So once you're on the platform, you're proxied and you're protected. And again, this is all stuff you can control. This isn't a service where, you hand us the key. As I say, everyone, the service is like a Ferrari. We hand you the keys to it and we're in the passenger seat, with you. So bot management, that is a huge one. I cannot stress how many agencies have come to us from libraries or archives or anything like that, where they're just getting scraped and crawled and just eating up, an absolute horrendous amount of like CPU compute on, origin servers. So when you get on Cloudflare, it for one, it helps mitigate that because, as I said, it being served at the edge through its CDN and cache, it takes a lot of that load off your origin. But primarily, you can also deploy rules and customize those rules to block specific bots if you want, bad bots, known bots, malicious bots. With the enterprise level of the service we have, basically you get an extended feature set with bot management, which assigns a bot score to traffic. And it says, oh, if you're above, let's just say number 40 or 29 and above is likely human, but anything 29 and below is, as I said, likely a bot. And you can choose your actions with that service as well, whether you want to block, log, skip, any of those things. Turnstile, it's a web form spam and verification service. It's an alternative to CAPTCHA. We'll go through that a little bit later. Additionally, one great thing about the service is Cloudflare TAM support, so technical account managers. Agencies are provided, a dedicated team of Cloudflare subject matter experts to support before, during, and after your onboarding or your account creation or anything like that. So they're available to you at any time when you join the service, and they have a 30-minute SLA for priority one incidents. So you join the service, you're entitled to this as well, which is a team that the state does pay for to support the state. So let's move it on. All right. So WAF, as we discussed, it filters, and monitors HTTP requests at the application layer. So layer 7 of the OSI model, which is largely considered to be the largest threat vector, the biggest footprint that attacks come from. They start there. Sometimes, attacks can start other places, but they generally are starting at layer 7. So the point being is if you can block things at the furthest edge from your infrastructure, or anything, your networking, your hardware, that's the best case scenario. It provides robust security that detects and blocks malicious requests such as SQL injections, cross-site scripting, and more. It, as I said, has built-in DDoS protection. I mean, that's just kind of an automatic when you onboard to the platform. IP reputation-based filtering to block known malicious actors. So Cloudflare is kind of really intelligent because they're processing so many hundreds of millions of requests that they just have this threat intelligence about them that, let's say some other customer just from the private sector gets hit by something, like they can instantly update their rule set in WAF to protect you without you ever having to be affected by it, so to speak. And it's near instantaneous. Sorry, I feel like I missed a spot here on my slides, but geo-blocking rules, you can geo-block any country you want. We have some agencies where, their applications, they have dev environments, QA, production environments, but let's say like on this dev environment, we just want to, only allow, let's say, a team of 10 people in North Carolina. You can geofence around the entire state if you want, or the U.S., block any hostile nation actors. I mean, anything like that. So extensive logging and analytics, so it's very granular. You can go down and see exactly what IP hit where, and this is all provided to you. This isn't something that, you have to like ask DIT for, or, what I mean? Like it's all given to you. As I said, you get the Ferrari. Integration with SIEM, zero trust and compliance frameworks. I think I threw a slide up here. This is just an example slide of some of the analytics from the security events. I kind of omitted some information from this, but you can scale it back by, live data. You can watch this as live data if you want, which is instantaneous logs. You can do 1 minute, 5 minutes, 1 day, 7 days, all the way back to 30 days. If you want to go beyond 30 days, you need to push logs to a SIEM somewhere, but it gives you this. And what you're not seeing on this itself is below there. It will list IPs, countries, ASNs, paths, host names, everything that kind of goes with this. It's hard to actually put the amount of analytics and data that they give you in the dashboard on one screen for the Web Application Firewall. So moving along, global threat intelligence. That's what I was touching on earlier. As I said, that, Cloudflare handles like, 100 million HTTP requests per second. So they have a very distinct advantage at just kind of knowing web traffic, knowing bot traffic, knowing what's likely human or likely automated. Again, within the WAF, you get exposed credential checking, sensitive data detection. That also includes payment information, PII, in-transit content upload scanning. I've had to settle a few issues with that before because Cloudflare doesn't trust much. So it's really good, but so every now and then you run into oh, someone's uploading something to our site legitimately. They don't really trust content uploading. But again, either way, machine learning based detection, real-time blocking of emergent threats. That kind of goes into that threat intelligence that they were working at. And again, fast deployment and easy management. 9 times out of 10 to get an agency onto the platform, it's just a couple of DNS changes. Rarely do we have to actually change name servers or anything like that. A lot of our agencies, are nc.gov agencies or subdomain of nc.gov, and we just change the CNAME record here, add the record in Cloudflare, click some buttons, and it's online, and you're instantly getting that data like you saw here on the slide beforehand. So OWASP core rule set, the Cloudflare managed rule set, and granular custom rules. So Cloudflare, as its basis, it does provide you with 2 managed rule sets that, we like to call them living or live rule sets, and you never have to touch them. I mean, unless it's kind of a configuration change. But when I say you never have to touch them, I mean that they constantly update this rule set for you. Like, you don't have to go in and update a new threat. That's where, as I said, their threat intelligence will update those specifically for you. Your granular custom rules can be IP configurations for allow lists, deny lists. You can set it to an IP range or CIDR ranges for specific counties, cities, if you want to say, if you're not within this range, you cannot have access to this site. And again, 100% full control by you. Again, we're there to assist. I wanted to throw this up just to kind of paint the picture of like what we're seeing. Now, obviously, these numbers will increase as more accounts are added to the tenant, but you can see a marked increase in attack requests in the past 365 days, as we're averaging 5.34 million, 6.4, 8.2, 10, and then we have that insane jump to 55 million around September of 2025. And you can kind of you can do some Googling and see what geopolitical events will happen, but that's what we see. When specific geopolitical events occur, you will see a marked increase in attack attempts to our public-facing websites. And if you're unprotected, you could be that agency that just got hit with 55 million requests, on that specific day. So as you see, it increases over time. The real world events do affect these things. They affect, threat actors who target us. Even in the state of North Carolina, sometimes I wonder, like, why would anyone be on this website? Like, why would hostile nation actor have any information? But it's just any attempt to disrupt or break down, the cogs in the wheel that turn for the things that serve us in North Carolinians or other constituents outside of the state. So that's just what we're looking at. And again, this is just a line graph that has increased over time since I've been doing this. Let me see, moving along. So Advanced Certificate Manager. This is one feature that I was really surprised that a lot of people loved, is that you can basically issue certificates at the edge for your, between your user and your application. So you get multi-level subdomain support. Standard universal SSL only covers one level of a subdomain. Advanced Certificate Manager allows you to order advanced certificates to cover wildcards and, beyond the like. Total TLS is a great one that discovers all proxied host names in your DNS and automatically issues certificates for them, regardless of the subdomain depth. Customizable validity periods, certificate authority. As I said, you can sign these 14 days or as long as 365 days. As I said, you can select your certificate authority. Let's encrypt rather than letting Cloudflare choose for you. So again, it's just kind of like a control thing. Like, as where a lot of services that I've kind of like ran into, at least, or even had to work with myself at Cloudflare, a lot of times it's, here's a service provided to you. If you need support for it, or if you need to make any changes, you need to send an email or make a phone call to someone else to say, hey, can you turn this light bulb on for me? With Cloudflare, all of this is at your fingertips. It's all in your control. So you kind of define, the way that you want to handle this. And DIT will be here to help you, me as well as Seamus or Mac. that we're here to support you, if anything. We're not here to tell you how to do it. We can provide you with best practices and information or questions and answers for anything, but the rest of it is pretty much up to you. Let's see. All right, bot management. This is, as I said, this is a big one. So I don't know if people know, but with the Imperva bad bot report, this was 2025, that bots accounted for 51% of traffic, like internet traffic, compared to humans at 49%. Of that 51%, 37% is from bad bots, while the remaining 14% is from good bots, non-malicious bots. And that's an interesting one as well, because, good bots can be, if you want to be, populated within Google search results or Bing search results, any type of Apple bots or anything like that, as well as there's academic bots. Believe it or not, there is academic institutions where it's, for research purposes, bots that scrape. And some agencies don't want to block that, so you get absolute granularity with advanced bot management to say, hey, we want to block all these guys, but hey, this academic, for academic purposes, we want research to be able to scrape or crawl our site. Again, totally up to you. So you get this as well with the services. It's something we pay for. And again, I think, I threw this number up here, but of the, this is tenant wide, right? So just so we know that this is across all accounts, but of the 2.12 billion requests that Cloudflare handled for NC in January of 2026, that was about 10%, 9.53 of those requests were classified as automated or non-human. So that's 202 million requests, or mitigated bot traffic, if you will. So, excuse me. So Cloudflare defines bot management, defines it as a bad request as likely originating from a malicious or wanted bot rather than a human user. Bad requests come from automated scripts designed to perform harmful activities, and Cloudflare uses machine learning and behavioral analysis, to assign a bot score to determine the threat level. That's the scores I was telling you about earlier. That's a feature that you do not get in the lower levels or the lower tiers of Cloudflare service. So with what DIT provides, it is an enterprise account for you with these services that are basically locked behind an enterprise plan. Moving on, here's a little quick look at the number of requests over the last 365 years. 365 days, excuse me, my apologies. So again, that's number of requests, and that little percentage at the bottom is the number of automated requests against those numbers. Let's see if we can move along here. So Turnstile. Turnstile is a CAPTCHA alternative. I'm sure everyone probably in this call has at some point had to, choose all the bananas in the picture, or click on the buses, or check the box here that you're human. So that's what Turnstile is. This is a part of, it's included with the service that you can actually use this if you want, separate from even having a domain or a site on Cloudflare. If you just want an account for Turnstile, you can have that set up. And basically the way it runs is the same as you see for any logins or forms where you have to check a box or click on the buses or anything. It's a lightweight widget that runs there for you. And again, you do not have to onboard a site to the platform to actually use this. You usually just go in, type in your domain's URL, and you get a little code snippet, and you can add it to your site, and it'll work that way. Then you'll get analytics and data back in Cloudflare about it. Again, it distinguishes human users from bots without requiring users to solve puzzles. It eliminates the need for users to identify traffic lights, buses, text, or drastically reducing frustration or abandonment. At least that's the idea. It's invisible by default, although you can manage that if you want and set it to actually be an interactive solve, or just what they call the managed mode, where it predetermines what to actually serve to the user based on what data it sees about the user's interaction with your site. Then, unlike competitors, there's no personal data harvesting. So it does not harvest data from it. It's just a great service that they have and provide. Again, I mentioned, as I said, that they adapt to the challenge based on the individual visitors or browsers, applying stricter checks if they see, they use JavaScript detection to kind of say, oh, this we don't question this one. Someone needs to actually click the button to, move through here. And it integrates with WAF, and I can dive into that a little bit more if we have a specific meeting to go into it, but it uses those scores, or you can actually configure your WAF rules to issue these similar challenges for specific events, right? Like if you want to set a parameter to say that if a score exceeds a certain amount, issue the managed challenge. And the managed challenge is the same as the turnstile widget, which, as I say, you'll see right here on this screen. So that's what it looks like. So when it's doing that, it's basically doing the non-interactive version. And as I said, versus as you see the checkbox for the Google reCAPTCHA or the bus images. So yeah, I guess everyone's big question, or at least I hope everyone's big question is, how do we get onto the service, right? So this is the onboarding process, and I've listed these out with a few of the requirements. So for agencies to join, the no cost, let's emphasize that because that was the title of the Lunch and Learn today. Through Cloudflare, you must submit a request to the ticket request item or contact one of the WAF team members directly. That would be Mac, me, or Seamus. We'll set up a meeting to discuss the service requirements and go over any questions and answers if you want. Additionally, we can bring the Cloudflare TAM to that first meeting with you if you want to get very technical and into the weeds of how the service works, or any, you want your sharpest, technical minds to ask the most difficult questions. We'll bring Cloudflare to answer them for you. So we do have a memorandum of understanding. It will be provided to the agency and must be signed by the agency CIO and NCDIT. Basically, that MOU states exactly what we say here, that it is no cost, and that here are the requirements. One of the requirements being the MOU itself. So we do require super admin access to each account. This ensures that we can assist with any account-related configurations or security event mitigation. So let's just give an example of we add a local government agency and they add 6 users, and some user decides to leave and they still have access to the account or something, or something like that. Or if you lose your password, 2FA, it's just for support purposes, but that is a requirement of the service. We also require multi-factor authentication, or 2FA. You will be required to utilize MFA 2FA for all users on the provisioned account, and SIEM firewall event ingestion. So in partnership with ESRMO, we will provision firewall event logs to be pushed to our SIEM. This will assist in investigating potential threats and help with providing additional guidance on mitigation rules or strategies. This is a very non-invasive thing. It's the same information that we already see and you can see within the account. It just sends it to basically our instance of QRadar. Once your MOU is signed, NCDIT will provision and provide Cloudflare Enterprise account to agency, add any users, and continually support the agency with any requests, troubleshooting, or configurations. This is one point I really want to point out, is that this account will be owned by you. Okay, we're providing the services that kind of layer on top of the account. So there's no committals or requirements to remain on the tenant. I will say no one's left yet, so that's good. But you can join the service and say, hey, we like this, but we want to go about it our own way. You can migrate away with your configurations, no harm, no foul. The only downside to that is that you will lose access to the enterprise features that are provided by DIT, such as the advanced bot management and stuff. But if you guys say, hey, we want to seek our own agreement, that's totally fine. And there's, as I said, no issue from our end on that. I will take the moment to point out as well that there are numerous other services on Cloudflare that DIT does not pay for. You will be greeted with them very kindly when you enter the dashboard, because it'll be a whole list of other things over there. So any service that you are interested in as an agency and say, hey, maybe we want to try out this Argo smart routing or something like that, but it's not on the DIT plan, you can actually a la carte any service from Cloudflare on top of your NCDIT provided account with separate billing direct to Cloudflare. So if you want to add a separate feature set to your plan on top of the DIT plan, you can do that. DIT doesn't bill you for it. You would have that specific billing with Cloudflare individually. So you can a la carte anything you want on top of it. Let me see. Sorry, excuse me. So I provided some links here in our email contacts. I think Felina will send out the presentation after the fact. I've done one of these before, and I think that's what she did. So you'll have our contact information if needed. And that's about it. Any questions and answers?
There's a question in the chat. Can this be
Oh,
integrated?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Can this be integrated with the existing Cloudflare account?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So if you already have a Cloudflare account, all we have to do is basically tell the TAM team, our account managers, and say, hey, we're bringing them onto our tenant. If you have a payment already, like if you may be on the business plan or something, which is a couple $100 a month or a year, I don't remember exactly all the prices, but you can migrate to our plan and remove your payment information. Once you do, you can remove your payment information and you will no longer be billed, and you will be upgraded unless you already have an enterprise plan. So, yes.
So, Travis,
absolutely.
question for you. You said that it can be integrated. Have you had several do this already?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Absolutely. We've had several accounts and local government agencies that already had their own pro or business plan with Cloudflare. And they said, hey, we want to join NCDIT. All I got to do is you add me to the account or add us as super admins to the account. That way our TAM can see it because they can see the entire tenant and what accounts we're on. And I'll say, hey, upgrade town of example, North Carolina. To our tenant, and then you're given the enterprise licenses, the advanced bot management, certificate manager, and nothing has to change, so to speak, with your configuration.
Right.
Go ahead.
David Webb has a question. David, you can come off of mute.
Hey, you pretty much already answered this question, I believe, but I just want to verify. So with the enterprise features, I'm pretty sure that, like I said, you've answered the question, but so I was at a large state agency back in 2022 when they were brought on to Cloudflare because of events that occurred. I just want to make sure what you're offering to local government is pretty much the same thing that large state agency was brought into, correct?
Correct. However, we have added more services since 2022. So
it's bigger and better.
Yeah. We've added the bot management, the turnstile, as I said, and believe it or not, I think the advanced certificate manager was on there. We also have some dedicated ingress and egress IPs. But yes, bigger and better, same service that the state agencies are on. There is no difference. As I said, whether you're a fire department or NCDIT or DHHS, you are getting the same entitlements, to your account that everyone gets.
Thanks. I thought that was the answer. I just wanted to verify. Thank you.
No problem. See some in the chat. Yes, you can export logs to your own scene as well. We can help you configure that if need be, as I said. Chris Hewitt, that's just answering your question there. You can push logs, and that's no cost. That's not an add-on. Same is true with Project Athena as well. Yes, we've had several accounts that were Project Athena accounts that were free beforehand through Project Athena, and then now they're enterprise accounts through the NCDIT provided service. And as I said earlier, there is no commitments to this. I don't want to say try before you buy, because you don't have to buy anything. But if you come on board and you're just like, hey, we don't like this, you can revert back to that, kick us off the account. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Lose no configurations. The only thing that you would probably lose is the bot management and, your rule caps, like a WAF, so at enterprise WAF level, you can adjust bot management rules within the WAF. I think at like the free or Athena levels, you're limited to maybe like 5 or 10 custom rules. Again, I have no experience with I guess the lower tiers of accounts, but as I said, so. All right. Did that answer that for you, Marcel Miranda?
I guess it did. Oh, she said yes.
All right, perfect.
He or she said, yeah, I don't know which one. Any other questions for Travis or Mac or Sean? I said the name wrong.
Sorry, I didn't fill up the whole time here.
That's okay. I think this was extremely helpful for everyone who joined. And again, this is the information on the screen for Mac, Travis, and Shamus. And if you have any questions or anything, as Travis mentioned, I will send out this document as well as a transcription and the recording. So you have all of that information for you. Yes, there you go. The emails are there too. You'll have all of that information at your fingertips if you need to refer back to it at any point. I'm going to place the survey in the chat. And if you all would please, please, please fill out the survey to give us information about how you enjoyed this session or didn't enjoy this session. I can't imagine we have anyone who said that. But we appreciate your feedback on this session. Travis, thank you. Mac, thank you. And thank you, Sean. If I'm not saying your name right, please forgive me. Thank you all so much for joining us on today. This was very beneficial and glad to see local governments getting some love, getting some I'm not going to say cheap, but free products for us. I appreciate you and thank you, everyone. And please make sure that you have an opportunity to fill out the survey, which I am getting ready to share now before I close so that you can make sure you get it. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. There we go. Anything else did you need to say, Travis, before we end?
Just when you said that about the local governments and the cost thing, I just wanted to say that DIT is prioritizing agencies where, you know, budget wise, it's, you know, we've got some of the larger counties and cities on here, but our focus really is the agencies that need this service, you know, and it's very important. As I said, you know, this is cybersecurity and protecting our public facing applications for North Carolinians. You know, so there's no one who's too small, so to speak, for this. I mean, you know, as I said, if it's even just your fire department or sheriff department or police force or, you know, town hall, any of that, all of it qualifies for this. So even if you're not interested, you know, and you hear of another use case, you know, send them our way. Thanks, everyone.